Good morning everyone, today we're checking out a brand new video from the Goji Center about the 16 contestants that they have chosen to fight the Indom 2.0 to end off the Great Hybrid War. Let's hop in and check them out.
On July 22nd, 2024, a nightmare was unleashed that could end an era of mankind. This creature sent ripples across the planet, and the internet took it as a mission to eliminate this animal. Many failed.
Was it really that long ago they created the Indom 2.0? Wow.
Many currently think they succeeded, but only a select few might have actually accomplished surviving and defeating the pale horse of pestilence and death. These were the final 16 of the Great Hybrid War, a competition set out to challenge daring, aspiring geneticists to research, craft, and study fictitious hybrids composed of real-life animals, with the end goal of surviving and defeating a 2.0 in single hand-to-hand combat. Out of the more than 1,600 submissions, very few would have been able to kill a 2.0, with even fewer displaying creative body types, high congruence, excellent genomes, and unique combat methodologies that earned them the spot in the final 16.
Very
to keep this list interesting, the research team at Goji Center HQ handpicked the creatures that would perform best in a 1v1 matchup against the 2.0. Featuring some very unique builds, as you'll soon see. In the next few episodes of the Hybrid War, we'll narrow these down to 8, then analyze the final 4 hybrids in the last episode, bringing forth the winner of this competition. To determine the hybrid spot in the final bracket, the hybrids will be placed in 4 separate groups, depending on their overall build, with Group A through C consisting only of same builds, and D being a mixture of the remaining 8 with different overall builds.
Unique builds.
This is to prevent a sauropod versus sauropod or theropod versus theropod evaluation early on in the knockout rounds. A live drawing will be broadcast to all channel members, where we will live stream this drawing to determine which hybrids will stand off in the evaluation rounds. As this bracket closes in on the finalists, you'll find that we'll become even more harsh when evaluating these animals. Yes,
this actually
even
seems like it'd be
final
fun.
16. The final will truly be the best out of the best at defeating the 2.0. Without further ado, let us begin with hybrid number 1, Predator Rex. This theropod hybrid submitted by Godzilla fan art can be described as a large but not oversized theropod combining the traits of a variety of predators, modern and prehistoric. Also known as Vega, the hybrid marches into battle almost like a mirror of its opponent. Strong jaws, powerful limbs, armor, and venom all brought to bear. Looking at its genome and how they were used, this creature turns out being a highly resilient combatant with straightforward but practical weaponry. 9 contributors make themselves present, similar to that of the 2.0, using the real-life paleo-accurate T-Rex, Megaraptor, Utah Raptor, Komodo Dragon, Chimpanzee, Pangolin, Honey Badger, Vampire Bat, and Limpets. A combination of strong jaws and claws that was coupled with dexterous forearms that were built to cope with the size and strength. This hybrid will be placed on spot A1 and will patiently await its opponent in the evaluation round. Hybrid number 2.
Okay, so I guess this episode is mostly just going to be talking about all of these 16, and then the next episode will have them fighting, combating, and all of that.
Stratherium brutalis, with a name meaning brutal.
Damn, that is just a long-ass name.
Monstrous beast. This creature stomps into the platform with a total of 9 genetic contributors, using the Megatherium and Shentungosaurus for build and size, chimpanzee, thylacoleo, domestic pig, Indian pangolin, African crested porcupine, scalyfoot gastropod, and limpets. This is the first chiefly mammalian hybrid on this list. This ground sloth on steroids combines raw power with the more armored skin and quills of pangolins and porcupines.
Oh my.
Further augments by the massive Shentungosaurus help it cope with its large size, and give it time to leverage its claws and teeth for their best use. One big reason why this creature was selected was an interesting detail that may or may not have been intentionally leveraged by its geneticist at Justapitotis. While studying the genome, we identified a big issue. Scalyfoot gastropod and limpets were seemingly a clever choice when using it to augment the armor of this animal. However, mentioning that this also reinforces the bones makes possible for this hybrid to suffer from blood poisoning from all the iron leaching into the bloodstream.
Oh crap,
Isolating
that's right.
this augmentation only to the skin and teeth could avoid this, but thankfully, apart from adding this buff to mostly the skin, the hybrid also contains domestic pig, contributing to its immune system and ability to reroute toxic buildups. This alone saved this hybrid. This non-sauropod heavyweight
Now
will
that's
await a rival
clever.
competitor in spot D1. Time to look at one of the big hybrids of the final 16. Hybrid number 3, Armatus gigantus, the armored giant. Perhaps one of the simplest yet most
Cool name.
effective genomes in this competition's sea
Actually, a lot of these names are really cool.
of submissions, consisting only of Borealopelta, Stegoros, vampire bats, and Argentinosaurus as the base genome. This creature, submitted by geneticist Al Wall, is the most straightforward example in this list of being simple but practical. This giant quakes the earth by stomping into the arena with surprisingly few augments.
Big.
When the objective was just to put extra armor and spines along with the bolstered immune system of a vampire bat on top of the same genome this creature enjoys, you don't need much when building on top of possibly the most powerful land animal to ever exist.
It's
the colossal
very
titan that
big.
is Argentinosaurus. To fight anything, the objective is simple. It may not seem like the fastest, and it may take time to land any major hits, but with sheer bulk and armor, it might well weather the storm and lead to a literal crushing victory. This hybrid will sit and wait for the next round on spot B1. Number 4, Ceratops barbaricus.
Ooh.
The savage lightning-horned face is our first ceratopsian to enter the final 16.
Okay,
Consisting
okay.
of Triceratops and Alamosaurus working together for base and size, Ankylosaurus, Southern Mammoth, Stagonelopus, Scelidosaurus,
Southern Mammoth.
Pachycephalosaurus,
Huh.
Stegosaurus, Alamosaurus, Beaded Lizard, and Common Limpet. If there was anything in nature that could stand up to the Tyrannosaurus and win, it was a Triceratops. And the
Oh,
66
geez,
million
it
year old
snapped the
grudge is
horn.
revived with this bruiser stepping into the ring in front of the 2.0. Geneticist Mean Green Good to Go brought us an augmented trike sporting a wide variety of armored dinosaurs to keep it pretty.
The color pattern kind of reminds me of the Ultimasaurus.
Protected from head to toe. Alamosaurus for mass and thermoregulation, Mexican beaded lizard for added defense, and interesting addition of venomous bite to a ceratopsian. We'll park the
That
horned
is a
menace
little
in spot
interesting.
C1. Armor seems to be a common theme in the final 16, and rightly
It
so.
makes sense.
Hybrid
I mean,
number
hot damn.
5. The appropriately named Armored Titan may not have the plot armor Reiner enjoyed, but it might not even need that. The hybrid, brought by Connor the Dinosaur Man, comes stomping into the analysis platform with a
Oh my god, the only way they could have made that better is if they literally just named it Rhino.
modest number of 7 contributors. Diplodocus and Argentinosaurus for base and size, Armadillo Lizard, Megatherium, Fruit Bat, Whiptail Lizard, and Tree Frog.
Really?
The second
Tree
sauropod
frog,
Earthshaker on the list uses Diplodocus for reach and tail swing speed, with Argentinosaurus for added size and bulk. For close range, a set of sharp claws will make a
I'm sorry, why Tree Frog?
crushing attack even more lethal and messy. Armored lizards and bat DNA add some valuable resilience inside and out. Whiptail lizard and tree frog mean that in isolation, the Titan could breed at alarming rates and limit the time it would be a vulnerable juvenile, as long as sufficient
that's
food
why.
is laying around. The long neck was selected for being a versatile hybrid for its many methods of attack, but may not even need that many with an armored whip capable of cutting lesser animals in two. This hybrid will be placed on slot B2 and eagerly await the round of
Nice.
16. Next up, one of the most creative designs on this list, hybrid number 6, the Spinovenator. Also known
creative,
as
huh?
Akira, the Spiny Hunter. Brought to us by Yokomation Studios, this hybrid consists of a genome that proves that size isn't everything. Mape, weasel, leopard, jaguar,
Small
pallet
but
bat,
fast.
grasshopper mouse, barn owl, North American porcupine, Cape porcupine, Kia parrot, and honey badger. At only
Damn,
6 tons,
okay.
the fluffy assassin is a lot lighter than most other theropod entries. However, this particular attack methodology will prove that being lighter in this case may prove advantageous. Highly intelligent and equipped with the big clawed mate, the most mega of all Megaraptors, weasels,
that is
panthers,
a Megaraptor.
and carnivorous grasshopper mice add on to the claws and teeth while giving Akira the ability to create its own painkillers to stay in the fight. Fluffy but armored, the two species of porcupine cover it in bristles and quills for added defense that pricks back. Akira will sit on spot A2, taking the second spot in the group of theropods. Hybrid.
Oh, okay, so I see how the groups are now being spread. Group A is Theropod, Group B is... hold on. Just a little bit. Okay, so Group B is like the mega ones, I forget what they're called. And Group C is for a set of Topsian designs, and then Group D is, of course, the unique builds. So you got Tyrannosaurus, Longneck, Ceratops, unique. Got it.
Hybrid number 7 is a menace from another terrace. The Valkyriopteryx Hygeia is an example of how simple can also be dangerous and effective. And its creator Dionette being an example of a bold geneticist bringing a seemingly unconventional lightweight flyer into the arena. One that doesn't even weigh 1 full ton, but with an attack that can inflict a ton of force. The modified pterosaur is built upon the form of the most robust flying apex predator to ever live, Hatzikopteryx. And we appreciate avoiding using the overly used fanciful attack methods that could backfire, like spitting venom or burning acid. Instead, the addition of pileated woodpecker helps reinforce the beak and skull for strong pecs that could potentially crack bone.
So if it can land on the back, it could indeed, it could probably do some damage to stabbing into the back of the head or the back of the body.
Faced vulture helps to buffer up the immune system as well as ramp up aggression. The bald eagle gives the pterosaur an extra weapon most flying reptiles lacked by enhancing the leg muscles and giving it a set of talons across the feet whilst also enhancing vision. Finally, the street tenrec, a distant relative of elephants of all things, helps to bolster the defense with some strong but very lightweight quills. These quills also give it a unique war cry to confuse its enemy. While flying, this animal could produce a high-pitched sound called stridulation. This is the last sound many lesser animals will hear right before the Pteroraptor lands on its prey and inflicts the first and final blow.
Oh, hell yeah.
The Valkyriopteryx will perch on slot D2. We have now reached the halfway point of the final 16.
Yes, we
Number
have.
8 is the complete opposite of a lightweight ambusher. The Pheropelta brings a large but relatively congruent gene pool of contributors whose main strategy against the 2.0 is defense. Geneticists Omega Pictures brought us a ceratopsian with an ankylosaurid base, almost a dozen other armored dinosaurs adding on to it. From deflecting armor of Gastonia to the optimized tail club of Anodontosaurus. Other members of the genome increase defense, buff up the internal structure, the modern-day African bush elephant and macaw for increasing intelligence and decision-making, and Mylodon claws for better grounding and offense. Its stance is one of the best in the hybrid war, making it close to impossible to tip over or attack the belly of this beast. Pheropelta is the second and last ceratopsian to make it into the final 16, taking spot C2 before the next evaluation round. Hybrid number 9's genome and the use of its genetic contributors wanted a spot on this final list. Nemifagax Eversur, the destroying nemesis eater. Brought forth by geneticists at Pixel Studios, this uncanny theropod.
Oh my god, that thing looks like a monster shark.
Different breed apparently never skipped arm day. While some dinosaur genes are present, the addition of Dinochirus, Allosaurus annex, chimpanzee, and the giant baboon Dinopithecus left this contender seriously jacked, with talons for slashing and arms for grasping. Extra armor from the Ankylosaur Zool and the Chinese alligator help protect the flanks and major body parts. All while the Tyrannosaurus jaw structure combined with Acrocanthosaurus give it a muscular body and strong jaws. A unique and clever addition to Nemi was the use of Megalodon. Its cartilaginous aspect of the skeleton helps bolster the cartilage present on this hybrid, providing extra shock absorption and other benefits. Brawny and resilient, sheer strength helps make up for any decrease in agility. Nemifagax will back itself up into the third spot, A3 in the theropod build group of hybrids. Another large animal present in this roster of hybrid monstrosities is hybrid number 10, Mundosaurus, geneticist LC99's hybrid. The universe reptile stomps into the competition with another small yet congruent genome, featuring the Apatosaurus, Shunosaurus, the well-known Argentinosaurus, Kentrosaurus, and a possum. This medium, or some would say a small sauropod, initially sounds like a bad idea.
Sauropod, that's what the long necks are called.
Compared to prior titans, but at 30 tons, Mundosaurus still has more than enough mass to throw around. The muscular Apatosaurus genome is back for revenge after what the Indominus Rex did in Jurassic World, granting it a body that is both brawny and yet with a huge reach. Taking on the tail-clubbed sauropod Shunosaurus for an optimal weapon and Argentinosaurus for bolstered size and armor, this hybrid has some fantastic congruency for picks within a single family.
That is pretty damn
further adds
good.
to the armor on the outside, and an unexpected addition in the Virginia opossum gives resilience to both bacterial infections and venoms on the inside. Fun fact, these innocuous marsupials are actually extremely resistant to venom, able to hunt venomous snakes. They are also one of the only mammals completely immune to rabies and numerous other viruses. Mundosaurus will take the third slot in the sauropods list on B3 and will await the next round to begin. The genome of hybrid number 11 is the definition of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Geneticist Nacho Pups brought us a highly congruent theropod with minimal additions with other sources. Theropod Rex, a combination of extremely agile Tyrannosaurus, lightweight but efficient armor from several types of
I'm sorry, the way its eyes were designed, it looked like it was, I don't know, looking at me like Hannibal Lecter does when he's hungry, or someone that's cracked out.
Velosaurs, and the claws and shredding teeth of several carnosaurs. Built on top of a Carcharodontosaurus base genome, there is plenty of efficiency out of the gate. Dexterous arms from orangutans further help with grappling and leveraging those teeth and claws. Theropod dinosaurs dominated the big carnivore role in virtually every ecosystem for over 100 million years for a very good reason. Simplicity and practicality are some of the best policies in the Great Hybrid War.
I guess
this
does
hybrid
just make
snags
sense.
the last spot in the theropod builds group, leaving only 5 spots left for the round of 16. Time to show a unique hybrid, and one that may come as a surprise to most people. Maybe even the creator geneticist Chris Wubsevenson. Hybrid number 12, Gigantotherium. A name meaning gigantic beast may be more suitable for an animal other than an ape, especially given that these animals have some pretty strict limits on how large they could get. However, the creator cleverly found a workaround, using the monster sloth Megatherium as a base and Gigantopithecus for ape-like traits. This 8-ton Goliath is the genius bruiser of the competition. With multiple contributors for intelligence, such as elephants and orca, its combined instincts, if used correctly, could give it enough smarts to leverage weaponry granted from other contributors. All while flexible pangolin armor helps keep it defended from head to toe to weather hits as it bashes, bites, claws, and brings weapons to deadly purpose. If wielding the right weapon or tool and leveraging dexterity, this creature could pull off a surprising win against the Pale Menace. The ape hybrid will settle along with the other exotics in D3 and await the next round.
Only 4 left for the picking.
Hybrid number 13 is a pleasant surprise. Something born of the Mesozoic, but not just of dinosaurs, stomps into the platform. Patterned after the sauropod-like crocodilian relative Silosuchus, geneticist DB4's Lucanovenator is augmented with strong body armor from other crocodilian cousins and armored dinosaurs. Orangutan arms and intelligence round out a body bolstered with size and thermal regulation thanks to the Alamosaurus. Resilient, simple, agile, and practical with no major weaknesses.
So, hold on. This looks like it's mostly just dinosaur with one type of monkey mixed in.
This hybrid combines surprising resilience with exceptional reach and agility. Armored and yet quick, it can both tank hits as well as go on the offensive with charges and swipes to either push forward with an offense or fall back on defending. Lucanovenator will fall to position on slot D4 and watch the last 3 hybrids take the remaining spots. The hybrid war was flooded with many unique submissions, but a hybrid that clawed its way to the final 16 with one of the few clever methods of inflicting venomous bites was number 14, Arctosaurus horridum. The bear reptile submitted by geneticist KC1401 actually uses the ancient croc cousin from the Mesozoic. The body of the biggest land predator the world had ever seen outside of dinosaurs, Fasciolosuchus, Tyrannosaurus rex, and Kodiak bear further augment mass and muscular distribution along the body and jaws, increase senses,
good.
Those bear arms will be no joke.
Wolverine! They just straight up threw Wolverine genes into this thing.
Look at this
Holy
scale.
crap.
Here's the interesting part. Gila Monster DNA was added for a practical venom attack without having potentially breakable snake fangs. This creature's added benefit of scaly armor works in tandem with that of a Cuban crocodile to provide protection. The scrappy Wolverine further enhances its resilience, as well as those killer fangs. The robust brawler is not the largest, but definitely one who can swipe, claw, and wrestle before landing a devastating bite that just might refuse to let go. Its lighter weight helps this bruiser
really
keep the
gonna be
agility
good.
it might need in a confrontation. The bear reptile takes slot D5 and patiently awaits its rival. There are only 2 spots left in the final 16, and now we'll reveal the last sauropod to squeeze into this group of powerful builds. Hybrid number 15, the Aetherotitan Christus, aka Behemoth, name meaning Heavenly Titan of Christ. Submitted by geneticist Casuarius, the creator of this hybrid submitted...
It's so massive!
What might have been one of the biggest entries to make it this far. A titan clad in spiny armor built upon the Argentinosaurus as well, Behemoth thunders into battle with a menagerie of extra armor from familiar sources. From the pangolin to the dwarf crocodile, and several types of ankylosaur for extra plating and spikes. It also has wedge-tailed eagle vision and flying fox traits that enhance its immunity to various bacteria and viruses. Being this heavy means sacrificing maneuverability. However, at this scale, and being this well defended, all of its vitals are well off the ground, and any part in easy grabbing or biting range like the legs or belly is coated in defenses or spikes. Anything it crushes, it will destroy. The last righteous sauropod earns its spot in this group on slot B4,
that is gonna be
leaving
awesome.
only just one.
One
You may have
left.
noticed that the last remaining slot resides in the unique builds group. This entry made it to this list not only because of its prowess and build, but to the merit of its creators, who decided to use an underrated herbivore family as the base, Hadrosaurs.
Wait,
Meet
what?
the last entry to the final 16, Yamabrontorax maximus, or as its creator geneticist Hardy Maximus names it, Gilgamesh. Believe it or not, this hybrid was built upon possibly one of the most powerful land animals to ever exist outside of the sauropod build, Shantungosaurus, an animal that almost perfectly hits the sweet spot between size and speed. Gilgamesh is agile enough to easily keep pace with faster opponents and press the attack, but having more than enough mass to leverage its weight and power into crushing blows. What it lacks on major obvious weapons, raw force from impacts can more than make up for it. With long legs helping with a straightforward charge, the spiny armor further augments every blow and attack angle. In close quarters, these could prove devastating. Any attempt by a rival to grapple, restrain, pounce, or climb atop runs the heavy risk of getting thrown off and trampled before the body whips around for a crushing hit. These, ladies and gents, have been the top 16 entries of the first Hybrid War. Coming up, the 16 competitors will wait and see where they will be placed in the final bracket. This event will be live streamed for members at a future date. The resulting bracket will be publicized and the real tournament will begin. First, narrowing the contenders to 8 hybrids that can fight the 2.0 more effectively and pull off more wins. As we move on to the grand finale, the final 4 will face serious scrutiny, laying bare their flaws and weaknesses that could cost them their life. At the end, only the strongest will rise victorious, marking the end of this hybrid war and the beginning of a new era.
Oh, I wonder what they're gonna call it afterwards. Alright everyone, that's gonna be the end of today's video, and I hope you all enjoyed. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Link to the original will be in the description below, and I'll see all of y'all next time when we flick back on. Till then, and until the beginning of the war, this has been Fox. Thank you for joining.